Hello and welcome everyone to day 2 of the Rhino Tool House virtual demo series. I'm Collin Seubert, sales engineer here in Wisconsin and Northern Illinois. And with me, I have Ryan Mashlan, one of our application engineers in the Midwest. Today, we're going to be showing you a new product from Cleco called Cellcore. But before we get into that, a few logistical items. First, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat display at the bottom of your display, and we'll get to them at the end during our Q&A session. Next, in response to the COVID-19, you'll notice that Ryan and I are going to be keeping our social distance. We're wearing protective gloves, and we also have our sanitizer here on the table that's been wiped down. But furthermore, we at Rhino Tool House are taking this time to learn and become more educated on the products that we can provide you. Each and every day, across every region of Rhino Tool House, across our entire 29-state footprint, we are taking about an hour every day and running a training session. And during these training sessions, one of our application engineers or sales engineers are training the other employees on a certain product that's new and innovative. And that is truly one of our core principles, and we'll get to that throughout the demo, but innovation is number one, and we want to provide you the most innovative products. Now, during one of these huddle sessions, one of our senior leaders mentioned that what's happening right now with the pandemic is similar to what they saw during the 2008 recession. They then went on to mention that during that time, what they noticed is that the companies that came out the strongest through that recession were investing during that recession. So I just want to take this time to thank you for investing in yourselves and joining us today to learn. So thank you for that.
Enter your meeting
With that,
ID,
we're going to jump into Cellcore from Cleco. So to start, I'm going to point out a few of the different features. This is the right angle tool that Ryan has in his hands. You'll notice that the battery is an M18 Milwaukee battery.
Enter your
Now, most tool providers, they'll also, with the tool, they'll sell a $200 to $300 battery and also a charger that may cost an arm and a leg. What Cleco noticed is that, yes, they're only a tool provider and that they can use a battery that's used religiously across the industry in maintenance departments and across the plant floor. So they selected this M18 from Milwaukee. And all of their cordless tools are now going to be on this platform. And like I said, it's in most of the factories that we're already in. Next, with that Milwaukee battery and with cordless tools in general, one of the work when you're swapping out a dead battery. Next, most DC tools, you need to buy a tool. In some cases, you need to buy a cable and also a controller. What Cleco recognized is that some of their customers only want to run the tool in independent mode. So with this tool, we can run it in what they call independent mode. And in independent mode, we can run up to 10 P-sets or applications or 10 different torque strategies. So with that, we can now take what used to be 10 tools and put it into one tool. So in areas where you used to have 5 different torques, you used to have to buy 5 different clutch tools, whether that's pneumatic or battery. Now we can program 10 different torque values into this one tool. Next, I want to point out the display. When programming in independent mode, this display is critical. Everything is icon-based on this display, making programming torque values and angle strategies extremely easy. Next, I want to point out the indicator lights. So during a rundown, you'll notice that the indicator light is blue, depicting right on the part. The reason that Cleco did blue is after some research, rather than white, they noticed that it was actually easier to see the part while projecting the blue light. If we get a good rundown, the light is green. If we get a bad rundown, the light is red. That same exact feature is also present directly on the part with the pistol tool. As Ryan has the right angle tool in his hand, you'll notice the right angle tool is a two-handed tool and it's balanced extremely well. From an ergonomic standpoint, the length of the right angle eats up most of the torque reaction, and the same goes with the pistol tool. It balances in your hand with the battery on extremely nicely. Next, I want to talk about the torque accuracy. So what Cleco did with this tool is they brought to market a competitively priced tool, transducerized tool, that allows our customers sorry, I'm going to move up the microphone here. That allows our customers to achieve the quality critical fastening that they need. So if you're not familiar with the tool hierarchy, I'm going to quick explain it. So at the bottom of our tool hierarchy, we have our non-shut-off tools, our impact tools, our non-shut-off clutch tools or air tools. Above from that, we have our clutch tools, whether that's pneumatic or battery. And then way above that, we have our transducerized DC tools, plus or minus 2% accuracy. And furthermore above that, we have our spindle tools. Now what Cleco did is they bridged the gap between the clutch tool and the transducerized tool and found a happy medium here with this Cellcore transducerized DC tool. What they've published is plus or minus 7% accuracy on any joint. What we have found is on a consistent joint, that accuracy is much better. But like I said, Cleco publishes plus or minus 7%. Next, the torque ranges of the tools. The pistol tool can do up to 22 Newton meters. Obviously, 22 Newton meters is a lot of torque on a pistol tool. In some situations, you may have to fixture it. In others, you can get what they call their dead handle, which eats up a lot of the torque. And that dead handle clamps right onto the nose of the tool, like Ryan is pointing out. With the right angle tool, we can get up to 50 Newton meters. And like I said, that the length of the tool will eat up most of the torque reaction, so that 50 Newton meters is definitely attainable. Now that we've discussed talking about the tool in independent mode, I want to focus a little bit on the Cleco controller platform. So to start, with the battery tools, we can run on this M Pro 200 here, this small skinny controller, we can run 10 tools simultaneously. On the right, we have our M Pro 400 controller, and with that controller, we can run 15 battery tools and 1 corded tool, or 16 battery tools. The controller that's missing in the middle is called their M Pro 300, and that controller can run 1 corded tool at any time. So when we're running with a controller, we can, like I said, run 10 tools to this M Pro 200. We can also now run 100 P-sets per tool. So that means if we can run 100 P-sets or applications with 10 tools on that controller, the M Pro 200 can house 1,000 P-sets or 1,000 torque strategies. Pretty powerful stuff. Now when using the controller, we can also run advanced strategies. So applications where you have prevailing torque, or maybe an extremely soft joint where there's a lot of relaxation and you need an advanced strategy or a 3-stage strategy, we can now do that in controller mode, and Ryan will show us that later. We can also run external devices to call out certain P-sets or jobs now using the controller. Ryan right now has a barcode scanner on. It's a wearable barcode, and I'll explain it a little bit further later. But with that barcode scanner, we can call up certain jobs or certain P-sets. We can also run bit trays or socket trays. We can call stack light, so there's a nice stack light right in front of the operator, so they know if they get a good or a bad rundown right in front of them. And then they all talk over open protocol. So if you want to tie this into your MES system and call down certain jobs to the controller, you can do that as well. Lastly, with the controller, we can run basic work instructions. So you'll see on the screen behind me, I have what is the run screen from Cleco. In the same situation, we can run this screen and have the part that is actually being assembled on the screen with small hot spots indicating which fastener the operator should be tightening at that time. Now, obviously, it's not a full error-proof system because it isn't actually finding which fastener the operator is on at any given time. That can be done through, a torque arm with encoders or with a different system that we can show you later. But it does give the operator that nice visual. So with that, now that you guys have seen a little bit of the tool, we're going to run into the demo. So the first thing I want to point out is the Pro Glove. What this Pro Glove is it's a wearable barcode scanner. So what Pro Glove did is they took your basic pistol grip barcode scanner that you have to pick up and put back every time you use it and made it into this wearable function. What Ryan is wearing is called the wrap. They also have an actual glove that the scanner can go on and what they call a reel. So the reel can attach to a lanyard or to your belt, and every time you pull it away, it'll scan. They've found that you can save up to 3 seconds per scan using the Pro Glove. It's extremely easy to program. You can shoot 1D or 2D codes, and obviously it's extremely ergonomic. So with that, Ryan is going to start our assembly process. And what we've built here is we've built a 4-step assembly process. So for example, your part can run into the cell that it's being worked on. You can scan the VIN of that part, and up can pop a 4-step work process. So what Ryan does is he's going to run the fastener down for process 1. Now, to simplify the demo, he's going to back the fastener off for step 2. And that's just a simple reverse angle strategy at 600 degrees. Now you're going to see a special process, which is a 3-stage rundown. Ryan's going to run the fastener down. It's going to back off, and he's going to run it down again. And then stage 4 is simply going to be a back-off strategy of 600 degrees. When the job is complete, you'll see on the tool, the blue light flashes to indicate to the operator that they have now complete the job. And at this point, that part could move and advance in the assembly process. The one thing I want to focus on with that is that 3-stage rundown. That was the 3rd stage within the assembly process. So Ryan's going to kind of show us that rundown again. So what we've built, for some soft joints, for example, like a hose clamp, you're going to run it down, and then you're going to notice that when you do your quality check afterwards, that there's going to be joint relaxation. So say your target was 10 Newton meters, and your tool shut off at 10 Newton meters, but then you did your quality audit a few seconds after and saw that your seat torque was only 8 Newton meters. That can cause a lot of quality defects. So what this does is it allows the joint to relax, and then it runs it down again. So Ryan's going to show it again. Run down, back off, run back down. So now we can run this advanced strategy with a tier 2 transducerized tool and save a lot of money. So with that, I want to open up for Q&A, but before I do that, I want to talk about a few new things that are coming with this Cellcore family. One, here at the end of April and early May, they're going to be introducing an inline tool as part of the Cellcore family. And I know a lot of you are like, why would I hang, or why would I put a battery inline tool on the line when I already have to hang it on a balancer? Well, here's why. So every time you run a DC tool or you add a new DC tool, previously, you would have to buy the tool, a cable, and a controller, right? Costing anywhere between, say, $10,000 and $20,000. Now, with this new Cellcore family, you can simply buy one controller and 10 tools for each individual line. So rather than spending that $10,000 to $20,000 on each individual line, you can now buy a $3,000 tool or a $4,000 tool in just one controller. I mean, the cost savings are endless when you add it up. They're also looking into releasing an 80 Newton meter right angle tool with their Cellcore family. And they're also going to be doing some advanced programming in independent mode. So for those common applications like for self-tapping screws where you have that prevailing torque that may be higher than that seat torque, right now we have to program that through the controller. What they're doing is they're going to allow some prevailing torque strategies that are going to be allowed in independent mode without the controller. Lastly, I want to point out some accessories. This accessory was brought to us by Extremity 3D, who is also going to be a part of the virtual demo series next week. What they did is they put this sleeve on the tool, and we can tie in the Pro Glove to that sleeve. So now I can put the barcode scanner right on the tool, and I can scan with one hand. So a pretty cool feature that Extremity 3D has helped us with. So with that, thank you for joining. I hope you can join us tomorrow for the Gorval G-Force demo with Scott Jansen. That's going to be a part of some of our material handling series that's going to be coming to you. But with that, I'd like to open it to questions.
What's the max RPM for both guns?
Ooh, the question was, what is the max RPM for both guns? With the pistol grip tools, there are 4 different tools. There's a 4 Newton meter, or 3 different tools, excuse me. There's a 4 Newton meter, a 12 Newton meter, and a 22 Newton meter tool. With the 22 Newton meter tool, your max RPM is 424. But then if you go with the 4 Newton meter tool, you can run at 1100 RPM. So you can see there's quite a gap. With the right angle tool, I know with the 50 Newton meter tool, the max RPM is, I believe, 353. sorry, for the low end 11 Newton meter tool, it's 353. For the high end 50 Newton meter tool, it's 253.
Does the scanner boot on the gun block cooling vent? Does the scanner boot on the gun block the cooling vent?
Oh, so the question was, does the scanner on the gun block the cooling vent? In fact, the cooling vents are a part of the top transducer here, this black part. So you'll notice on my 3D printed part, the wrap actually stops right before my cooling vents. So it doesn't block the cooling vents.
We've got a question from Chip Paulson. Where can I get a vest like that?
So Chip wants to know where you can get a vest like this. My wife got it for me. I can't help you on that one. Sorry, man.
Can the OK, no-K stack light be used with existing Cleco tools, or does it have to be used with the new Cellcore model?
So the question was, can the OK, not OK stack light be used with existing Cleco tools, or does it have to be run with the Cellcore tools? If you're using a clutch tool, like an air clutch tool, obviously we wouldn't be able to tie that in. Or I guess we could tie that into an air module system and tie that into a stack light. But any tool that is battery or electric, you can tie that into a stack light using I/O.
What size battery is required?
What size battery is required is the question. With the Milwaukee battery family, we can use either the 2 amp hour battery or the 5 amp hour battery, and those you get from us directly. We obviously have a deal with Cleco and Milwaukee, so we can get them to you at a good cost.
Can the M-Pro 200 run wired tools?
The question was, can the M-Pro 200 run wired tools? No. If you're looking to run wired tools and wireless tools, the controller you probably want to use is the M-Pro 400. Like I mentioned earlier, you can run 1 wired tool with that and up to 15 cordless tools.
What about if we have a safety critical joint?
The question was, what about if we have a safety critical joint? Well, Cleco is also releasing a new safety critical DC battery tool called CellTech, and that's going to be rated to plus or minus 2%. So the CellTech tool is going to look pretty similar to the Cellcore tool, and it's also going to talk to both the M-Pro 200 and the M-Pro 400. So you can kind of mix and match your tools depending on if it's a safety critical joint or a quality critical joint. And like I said previously, the software package is the exact same. So it's not a different software for CellTech and for Cellcore for running the M-Pro 200 and the M-Pro 400. It's all the same across their platform. It's the same exact programming mechanism.
How much is the software you use to program the controllers?
The question was, how much is the software that's used to program the controllers? And the software is free, which is really nice. One other point I want to add is, I said that 10 tools can be used on this M-Pro 200. You buy the controller, you can run 10 tools out of the box. You're not buying additional licensing and software to be able to run 2 tools versus 1 or 10 versus 2. When you buy the controller, you buy everything, and you can run 10 tools right out of the box.
Do the Cellcore tools have an option or feature that can be turned on to simulate pulse and reduce the torque reaction?
So the question was, do the Cellcore tools have an option to run in a pulse mode that can then limit the reaction? And the answer to that question is no. But like I said earlier, with the right angle tool, the length of them really eats up most of that torque reaction. So currently, there isn't a pulse option with them. It's all direct drive.
Where do I go for PM service and calibration?
The question was, where do I go for PM service and calibration? And the answer to that is right here at Rhino Tool House. We're an ISO 17025 accredited calibration lab, and we have 8 dedicated repair techs up here in Wisconsin. We also have a full repair team in Louisville and out in Pennsylvania and also in North Carolina. So we're the place to go for repair. We're competitive in cost, and those repair techs are truly the brightest guys in the building. They know these tools inside and out, and they know that when they get a tool in and it doesn't work, that they're going to send you a tool back that will be fully functional and calibrated.
What about higher torque applications?
The question was, what about higher torque applications? If we extend the 50 Newton meter application, you can go to Cleco's corded Neotech tools. That would run off the M-Pro 400 or that M-Pro 300, and you can reach those higher torques. So I think that is it for the questions. Again, oh, wait, one more.
Can a multiplier be added to these tools?
Can a multiplier be added to these tools? Yes, in fact, they can. A multiplier can be added to both the right angle and the pistol. On the pistol, they have a 500 Newton meter option, a 1,000 Newton meter option, and a 2,000 Newton meter option. And again, it runs the exact same. You can run it in independent mode or with the controller, and you can achieve those high torque applications.
What is the sample rate for torque angle resolution measurement?
Oh, the question was, what is the sample rate for torque angle resolution? I believe it's the frequency is 1052 hertz, but I'd have to double check. But I'm pretty sure it's around that 1000 hertz in terms of frequency.
Can tools be used at the same time if I were to use one controller for tools in multiple cells? Or would one operator have to wait until another operator is?
Can tools be used simultaneously on multiple lines if I have two tools tied into one controller? And the answer to that question is yes. You can run up to 10 tools simultaneously on one controller. As long as you're within range of the plant network or of the internal network of the controller, you can run the tool simultaneously.
Are these two tools Bluetooth or Wi-Fi? A lot of customers switching.
Are these tools Bluetooth or Wi-Fi? I'm seeing a lot of customers switching to Bluetooth was the question. These tools are both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. It's a simple enable on the tool. What I'm seeing more is Wi-Fi, honestly, at that 5 gigahertz, at 5G. But it is capable of running Bluetooth as well.
Is the full torque angle curve available via software or ToolsNet compatible collection system?
Is the full torque curve available on the software? The answer to that question is yes, and we can actually display that. Ryan, if you want to show us the oscilloscope. So if Ryan runs the tool, you will be able to see the entire torque curve. So here's the torque curve. Because it's a hard joint, obviously there was a lot of eating up of the fastener, and then you'll see the torque over angle being achieved. So this was a multi-stage rundown. You see the rundown, torque being achieved, back off, and again, torque being achieved. So all of that is directly on the software, which is free.
If I have an existing M-Pro 400, can I add Cellcore tools to this controller? If so, how many?
If I have an existing M-Pro 400 controller, can I add Cellcore tools to it? The answer is yes. You can add 15 Cellcore tools to an M-Pro 400 if you are running a cabled tool. If you remove that cabled tool, you can add 16 Cellcore tools to that controller.
Do I have to pay for software updates on tools or controllers?
Do I have to pay for software updates on tools or controllers? No. All software updates are free of charge. Myself or Ryan, an application engineer, will stop by and update the controllers and tools for you. So I think that just about wraps it up. Again, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure, and we hope you can join us tomorrow for our G-Force demo with Scott Jansen. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Stay healthy.